So today I'm going to do a very quick garden tour just to bring you up to speed with what's in the beds. Now I can see them, having cleared the pathways. I'm Liz Zorab and this is real life gardening. So bed number one has got, look at these fabulous flowers. These are the flower heads of elephant garlic. Aren't they beautiful? I originally planted them for the garlic, for which I've got plenty, and then I just left them in because I love these tall pom-poms of flowers in the garden. I might collect some seeds and try growing them from seed, but I do have plenty of elephant garlic cloves to grow from. There's some chives in the corner there, there's some parsley going to seed. There are some very little red currant cuttings along the edge here, which I put in a year or so ago. Well, they've really struggled with the dry weather, but there are still a few. And then I've left all the weeds on that side for the elephant hawk moths to finish their life cycle. Here is some sweet Sicily. I have a lot of this in the garden and I do really like it. I use it to sweeten rhubarb. You can actually reduce the amount of sugar you put in rhubarb quite substantially by something like 25% with a couple of handfuls of sweet Sicily, but you need to like sort of licorice aniseed flavour because that's what it's going to add. There is a little oak tree down there. It needs to come out. I don't want to grow an oak here, but I'm going to wait until we get to the dormant season to move it. It's just too hot and too dry to move it at the moment. So bed number two. This bed just feels like a victory. You can see from my smile how pleased I am with it. So there are a few parsnips along the edge here, and there are also some red cabbages and some black kale. In the centre there is, I think it's purple sprouting broccoli, several plants of that, and also a couple of fildercrack cabbages over that side. And then there's also some yellow chard. Now a lot of that chard is now going to seed because it's just so dry, but some of the plants are coping with the heat, particularly the ones at this end, which I guess are more shaded from the sun as it goes round. I guess there's a little bit of shade cast by the polytunnel. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment, or both. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. And if you'd really like to help out at the end of this, please watch another of my videos, because that tells YouTube that you're really enjoying my channel. Thanks. And then in the centre is a row of carrots. They're doing really well. It's either 2 or 3 different varieties. I've started harvesting a few from this end. I'm going to allow them to grow a little bit more, particularly now we've had a sort of slight touch of rain. The leaves of some of these brassicas have got moisture on them. That could be from last night's rain or it could be from this morning's dew. But they're very happy with that. I'm very happy with the whole bed. And you know, there's very few damaged leaves. There's very few holes in them. And in a minute you're going to see what's happened to the brassicas that are uncovered. Bed number 3, I haven't weeded at all in here yet, and I certainly need to. There are huge great brambles growing up through it. There's masses of grass, there's rosebay willow, it's weedy. But that's fine. Now I've cleared the pathways, I can get to this. Particularly now on days like today when it's a bit cooler, I can come out and do a bit more. But the other thing I'm trying to do is pace myself and make sure that I don't try and do too much in one day, because that just knocks me back and makes everything take much longer. This smells fabulous. These stems are last year's growth, and I still haven't cleared those yet. So there is work to do, but I'm not worried about it. Bed number 4, likewise, needs weeding. But earlier in the year, I did clear a section of it and I planted it up with some brassicas. And all I can say is how pleased I am to have been of service to the cabbage white caterpillars and cabbage moth caterpillars. They are absolutely covered in it. There's still more eggs here. They have stripped most of these leaves. But these are perennial cabbages, and as long as they can grow enough and regenerate, they'll bounce back and they'll still supply me with some food during the winter. These poor old black kale, well, I have a feeling they might not survive, but do you know what? Another generation of butterflies have survived, and they will be feeding birds, bats, hedgehogs. So I'm quite happy for this corner at least to have supported the wildlife system just a little bit more. Bed number 5 is also doing really well. It's full of brassicas, but they aren't without holes in them because when there was really long grass growing on that side on the path, looks like caterpillars could get up and then get through the netting. So there have been caterpillars in here. There is some caterpillar damage, she says, looking. And this is the sort of situation where I hit a dilemma because I want to carry on supporting the wildlife population, but I don't want them eating our food. So what do? Do I just kill them, or do I relocate them over to the brassicas over there? And I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I am pleased to say is that I can see there's 1, maybe 2 cabbages. This one's absolutely ready for harvesting. This one's got some holes in it, but isn't quite ready. This might be harvested this week. Despite having cleared the path between beds 6 and 7, I haven't actually cleared the beds yet, so there's plenty of thistles and there's just plenty of weeds. These are pretty much purely ornamental. There is some bronze fennel there, and there are some herbs, but mostly it's ornamentals. So I'm not going to worry about them too much now. I will give them an overhaul in the autumn, but I am just going to concentrate my efforts on the productive beds, like bed number 8. This bed is looking pretty successful in my eyes. I've got some very good beetroot along here, already harvested some of those, others are now ready to harvest. And then on that side are 3 rows of leeks. They're looking good. They're looking like the best leeks I've grown for 2 or 3 years actually, so I'm very pleased with those. These lovely flowers, which are actually now self-sown, are chop suey greens. No good for eating once they've gone to flower, but they attract pollinators to the garden, so I'm leaving them there. And in that corner is a potato, a tuber I obviously didn't harvest. Actually, there's one here as well. So they're ones that are effectively self-sown, and I'm going to let those grow. More potatoes aren't going to hurt. Talking of potatoes, behind me are the raised beds in which I transplanted some of the potato plants there, and I also planted in some tubers. Now these have started to die back, mostly I think because it's so hot and dry. So we'll harvest these, not right now. I'm just going to use a bit of the straw here to cover around the plants just to stop the tubers getting green. So we'll harvest those maybe for the next video. I still got quite a few potatoes from a previous harvest, so I don't want to harvest things unnecessarily. They'll store in the ground quite happily at the moment. It's not wet enough to have masses of slugs eating them, I think. So we'll leave that for another time. For most of the garden, I can just go, well, I didn't get around to it last year because I wasn't feeling well enough. But bed number 9 actually makes me feel a bit like a failure. It doesn't matter that the back garden's looking amazing or any of those veggies are doing, that the orchard, the hedges, the food forest look great. This bed makes me feel a bit like a failure because this bed got completely overgrown 3 years ago. I just about cleared it last year and then didn't do enough with it and didn't maintain it. So now I'm back to the situation of it being completely full of weeds again. And I find this it was quite disheartening. I think maybe it doesn't make me feel bad, it just makes me feel really disheartened. So I do need to come and clear this bed. It really wouldn't take very long to do it. And mentally, I've just got to gear myself up to it. But I do want to do it because I want to get some overwintering crops in here, and I need to get those in fairly soon, or it will be maybe too late to add them in. So I'm going to set myself a target. By the end of the first week in September, I will have cleared all this. And I will hold myself accountable. Just like beds 6 and 7 behind me, beds 9 and 10 are mostly ornamental. So I haven't really got around to weeding them. I've started a bit on that side. The thing that I need to do most of all is come and cut off the rose suckers that have grown from my standard roses, because they will be draining energy from the plants. So I need to remove those, give the plants a good water and feed, and cut off a dead head of the spent roses, kind of rejuvenate them, because they will give me another display later in the year. Bed number 12, I'm pleased to say, has been really productive this year. So I've put the runner beans, the Greek gigantes beans, at that end. They're doing really well. There are a few parsnips below, and then along here there are lettuces and beetroot. Now, these lettuces over here are going to seed, but I'm leaving them in at the moment, not because I want to collect the seeds from them, but because they're shading the beetroot that's growing this side of them. And in this heat, the little bit of extra shade, I think, is doing the beetroots really well, because they're growing steadily and nicely. There's some celeriac down here, a couple of 3, maybe 4 celeriac plants. And these lettuce here, they've just been amazing. We've been eating these on a cut and come again basis. They are now starting to go to seed, but only just. So I think I can get maybe 1 or possibly even 2 more harvests before they become too bitter. When I started clearing this pathway, I also weeded both bed 13 and 14. Now 13 has got, it's only 1/3 of the size of the rest of the beds. It's got a very lovely marjoram growing in it. Bees are really enjoying it. It's absolutely humming. This is a thalictrum which has gone to seed. I'm leaving that because I'm going to collect the seeds so I can grow some more of them. And this is an agastache blackadder. Absolutely love it. Loved by bees and butterflies. So it's there to support pollinators. What I have just spotted is a rather large piece of grass dropping its seeds everywhere. And then this bed is 50-50 edible and ornamentals. Maybe actually more edible than ornamentals. This is a dwarf artichoke, Jerusalem artichoke. There's some Rebecca. There are chives down here, which has also got seed heads on them. And what I tend to do with those is just put them down very close to the chives so that I know they're chives that are growing, not grass seeds. There's more marjoram there, and then this is the one plant I haven't got out of this bed yet. It's a dock, and I need to be really careful how I take this out, because all of this brown is seeds and I don't want them going everywhere in the garden. So I think I'm going to have to put a sheet underneath them to prevent all the seeds dropping on the floor there. Just remove it really carefully. But apart from that dock, I'm very pleased with how these beds are looking. They're looking really full and really mature. Yes. Beds 15 and 16 are in a 50-50 state. So they've been half weeded, some at that end, some at this end, not the section in the middle. This one I weeded all at the beginning of the year, planted it. I don't really know what to say about it. It has really struggled. It's just really struggled with how dry it is. I think I need to look at the soil in there. I need to add loads of organic matter. I really need to build the soil so that it will retain moisture in years to come. I also need to make it so it's really free draining. So in the winter, when we have the huge amount of water that we have here, it won't just sit in a pool of wet. I'm looking at the rhubarbs that are in there. They're struggling. The kales that I put in are struggling. Only thing's not struggling is the rosebay willow herb. That seems to be doing really well. There are also plants waiting for me to collect seeds, like this astrantia and the thalictrum. And then there are plants like this hylotelephium or sedum, which is still to come into flower and will attract pollinators and provide food for them as well. So all in all, it's a bit of a mixed bag in the garden. But the reality is, after a year of not really doing any gardening last year, I'm delighted with having made so much headway this year and having so much food to harvest. There are still plenty of seeds for food that you can be growing during August and September. And of course, I've made some videos and I'll leave a link on the screen. And if you click on that link, it'll take you straight through to that video.